Votes for women, keep it up, never mind the party. Votes for women, sure to win, sing it strong and hearty. Happy 4th of July, 1920. This is a very exciting summer because we're awaiting the ratification of the 19th Amendment that will give women the right to vote nationwide. It's something I've been waiting for many years. And it's all because of women who've been fighting this for a long time. I was thinking about a July 4th in 1876 at the centennial of America's birthday that occurred in Philadelphia. The National Women's Suffrage Association had requested the opportunity to present as part of the festivities, but they were denied any time on stage, but they were given tickets to sit in the audience. Well, after the Declaration of Independence was read from the stage behind Independence Hall, Susan B. Anthony and several women rose from the audience and they presented their own Declaration of Rights of the Women of the United States. I want to read a little bit of this as I do every July 4th, hoping and waiting for us to become enfranchised. While the nation is buoyant with patriotism and all hearts are attuned to praise, it is with sorrow we come to strike the one discordant note on this 100th anniversary of our country's birth, when subjects of kings, emperors, and czars from the old world join in our national jubilee. Shall the women of the Republic refuse to lay their hands with benedictions on the nation's head? Surveying America's exposition, surpassing in magnificence those of London, Paris, and Vienna, shall we not rejoice at the success of the youngest rival among the nations of the earth? May not our hearts, in unison with all, swell with pride at our great achievements as a people? Our free speech, free press, free schools, free church, and the rapid progress we have made in material wealth, trade, commerce, and the inventive arts. And we do rejoice in the success thus far of our experiment of self-government. Our faith is firm and unwavering in the broad principles of human rights proclaimed in 1776, not only as abstract truths, but as the cornerstones of a republic. Yet we cannot forget, even in this glad hour, that while all men of every race and clime and condition have been invested with the full rights of citizenship under our hospitable flag, all women still suffer the degradation of disenfranchisement. Now, like the Declaration of Independence that most people don't always read, it is full of 27 grievances against King George. In the Women's Declaration of Rights, there are many grievances against the United States government, and I'll just share a few. Bills of attainder have been passed by the introduction of the word male into all state constitutions, denying to women the right of suffrage and thereby making sex a crime. The writ of habeas corpus, the right of trial by jury of one's peers. Taxation without representation. The immediate cause of the rebellion of the colonies against Great Britain is one of the grievous wrongs the women of this country have suffered during this century. Unequal codes for men and women. Held by law a perpetual minor, deemed incapable of self-protection even in the industries of the world, woman is denied equality of rights. Representation of woman has had no place in the nation's thought. Universal manhood suffrage, by establishing an aristocracy of sex, imposes upon the woman of this nation a more absolute and cruel despotism than monarchy, in that woman finds a political master in her father, husband, brother, son. When the slave power was dominant, the Supreme Court decided that a black man was not a citizen because he had not the right to vote. When the Constitution was so amended as to make all persons citizens, the same high tribunal decided that a woman, though a citizen, had not the right to vote. Such vacillating interpretations of a constitutional law unsettle our faith in judicial authority and undermine the liberties of the whole people. To all these wrongs and oppressions, woman has not submitted in silence and resignation. From the beginning of the century, when Abigail Adams, the wife of one president and mother of another, said, "We will not hold ourselves bound to obey laws in which we have no voice or representation." And now, at the close of 100 years, as the hour hand of the great clock that marks the centuries points to 1876, we declare our faith in the principles of self-government, are full equality with man in natural rights, that woman was made first for her own happiness, with the absolute right to herself, to all the opportunities and advantages life affords for her complete development. And we deny that dogma of the centuries incorporated in the codes of all nations, that woman was made for man, her best interest in all cases to be sacrificed to his will. We ask of our rulers at this hour no special favors, no special privileges, no special legislation. We ask justice, we ask equality, we ask that all the civil and political rights that belong to the citizens of the United States be guaranteed to us and our daughters forever. Reading those words from Susan B. Anthony from 1876 brings me so much hope. I hope that I can vote in this election of 1920 and that the amendment is passed, and that then my daughters and granddaughters and great-granddaughters will be able to vote. I know that it will be so sweet to finally cast my ballot in this election, and I hope that all women will understand those who came before to give us what we equally deserve. Marching with the May sky